6:30. I am literally pulling out the parking lot of work right now. I walked out of work at 5:54, so I just made it in time to start Twitter up, so I could be talking to you guys. Real quick, just make sure. Can you guys hear me? Can I get a heart, a clap, or something from somebody, just so I can see that y'all can hear me?
You're good.
Yay! Okay, thank you.
You're good.
All right, all right. So I'm gonna do a little driving and a little talking, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jason, so I don't, kill anybody while I'm driving. But it's like I've ever talked to Twitter Space and been driving before, and I've never done that. Never done that. Anyway, so tonight we have a Cure project on, which is going to be a really, really cool project for y'all to hear about. So I'm really excited about that. And it's only going to take me like 5 minutes to get home. So we'll be back to regular scheduled program here very, very soon. Sorry about the music and I guess apparently it was some dead air there. Apologize for that, but it's okay. Nothing stops the Glow Nation. And we're going to continue. What is it? Say it, Jason. What is it? What is it we do when things mess up?
Improvise, adapt, and overcome, brother.
Yes, sir. Ain't nothing going to stop us. We're going to keep on rocking and rolling and keep on putting on good shows. So, what I think I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to turn it over to the man with a plan, the man who actually booked this show. He's the one that makes sure we have amazing shows. I'm going to turn it over to Jason for a little bit, give you all a break of listening to me ramble on while I get home, and I'll be back. So until then, Mr. Jason, I'm going to accept Cure Token as a speaker, and I'm going to give it over to you, Mr. Jason.
Hey, no worries. And welcome, everybody. I could not agree with Legion more relative to our guest this afternoon. Had some very interesting conversations. Please do, if you can, go retweet the space. We have a lot going on this afternoon. Really appreciate it if you'd help us get the word out there and drag our normal family and friends into the event. So yeah, let's start with the normal. This is not financial advice. Legion and I do this for entertainment and educational purposes only, and sometimes to just stress ourselves out. So we're going to make it, though. We're going to do good. So we really always like to have a focus on, having people on and projects on who really have something to offer that is a bit different from maybe, some other things that we get to hear about sometimes. Always trying to unite the DeFi space, though, and look for ways to work with others. And I see so many of our people in here. Great to see our core team members. Super shout out to a lot of people. My screen, because of everything that I'm doing, is not letting me scroll down. So I cannot see who all is in here other than what's on the front screen. But with that being said, we have been very excited and have been in talks with Cure Token for a bit. And really, I would just like to get into the project itself directly, because there's so much that they're doing. And I really want to make sure that they have the time to be able to really just share with everyone all the things that they have going on. It's a super awesome concept, and they're doing some really amazing things. So, who do I have with Cure?
This is Jake Beckley. How's everyone doing?
How you doing, sir? It's so good to have you. I've enjoyed our chats.
Yeah, no.
How's your day going, sir?
Well, it's been a busy day, but it's going well, and I'm just really pleased to be here. The wrap up kind of my end of the day here, and share a bit about Cure. So really excited about this.
Absolutely, and we're so happy to have you, and so blessed that you were able to take some of your time to come let all of our audience know everything that you guys have going on. So normally what we do at the end of the show, I'm going to do at the beginning of the show this time. Legion and I both feel strongly about letting people understand that there is a person behind the screen name that you're dealing with, right? So when you send a tweet, or when you send a message, or when you go into a Discord, and there's actually a real human being, a real person behind that screen name. And so I would like, if you would, to tell us a little bit about yourself personally, so that the community can get to know you as an individual, whatever you're going to share, before we actually get into the project. Tell us what you would like us to know about you, and also, how did you get into crypto?
Yeah, sure. Well, let me start out by saying first, again, my name is Jake Beckley. I do have a day job, so crypto is not full-time for me, although I think everyone here knows crypto is actually full-time. Never goes to sleep, so I'm always on, always working. But my day job is I'm an executive vice president of technology, product, and innovation in Chicago, and been working with the company for about 21 years, long time. And I work with some of the biggest brands in the world when it comes to marketing, digital marketing, innovation, things like that. And most recently, we started up an NFT division and crypto division within the agency as well. But that's my day job. You know, that's kind of how I make a living. You know, what I'm actually more excited about, and where most of my passion lies, is I started a nonprofit organization in 2016 after having spent years raising money for underfunded pediatric cancer. I decided to actually start a foundation, and I've done a lot since that point. You know, we've raised between myself and the foundation, you know, about $1 million in that time period, and you know, that's really where my biggest passion is. I love meeting people, helping families, talking to families, listening to their stories. You know, it's not easy when you get a child diagnosed with cancer, and it's life-changing, not just for the child, but for the family as well, and extended families. And there's a lot of financial burdens that get created from just those few words that your child has cancer. So I've done everything I can to make a difference. And you know, real quick, just briefly, I'll give you some examples. You know, we as a foundation do normal things like fundraising and silent auction items and raffles, but we also I also personally put myself out there. So if anyone here is familiar with Chicago, you know there's a lake which is Lake Michigan, and I got this crazy idea one night that woke up in the middle of the night, and I said, "Boy, I wonder if anyone's ever rowed a boat across Lake Michigan." And I spent the rest of the night, you know, woke up at 3, spent the rest of the night just Googling it, trying to understand what even is rowing, and figured out that, you know, nobody's ever done it. And I wanted to do something different in order to raise awareness for cancer. So I got, you know, knowing me, I kind of put my head down to it and started Googling everything I could. You know, what kind of boat would I use? Where could I train? Because I'm not athletic. I'm just a guy who sits behind a computer most of the day. And quickly realized I had to build my own boat. So went off on that journey of becoming a boat expert and learned everything there is about fluid dynamics and hydrodynamics and all this sorts of stuff in order to engineer and design and build my boat. And it was a crazy adventure. And then, you know, subsequently that caught the attention of an NFL player by the name of, he's in Chicago, by the name of Charles Peanut Tillman. And he's like, "Hey, you know, if you ever do it again, let me know, sign me up." He did pull the old wingman thing from Top Gun. He's like, "You know, I'll be your wingman." And so what do you know? 2 years later, we went at it again. I designed a bigger boat. We both worked on it nights and weekends in my garage and built it, and then rowed across. And took 25 hours nonstop over 65 miles both times. And it was probably the worst idea of my life the first time. And the second time was just stupidity. I mean, it's so painful. It's like running back-to-back marathon. It was just horrible. But we did it for cancer awareness and did some great things. And that actually is what kind of brought me into crypto, was actually this whole story. And, you know, back in, I mean, I'd always been into crypto since very, very early stages, but my you know, knowledge of it and involvement on it was, you know, layman's. involvement, Bitcoin and Ethereum basically. And when when pandemic hit, crypto became extremely topical, and unfortunately, it was because of Dogecoin, coin, as most of us know. And but at the same time, I was so passionate about the charity side of things, and the pandemic really took a hit on the charity side because everyone clamped down on the financial resources and means, and people's charity activities globally stopped or definitely diminished. So I thought, what's great? What's better than combining crypto with charity? And then naively thought, this is how naive I was about crypto at that point, but I naively thought that this was a revolutionary idea to combine charity and crypto. Yet, I had not yet understood that there were actually a lot of charity projects out there. So it's, but it was the birth of Cure. And what you realize as well in crypto is that you need to continually innovate and evolve and pivot to be relevant, to stay current, but as well to create longevity. So being a charity project alone is short-lived, unless you have some very powerful utilities behind it. So that's when we went off and started building technologies and innovating and trying to change the space. Coming from a space of innovation, I see crypto as being a destination for innovation. It's so ripe for it. There's a lot of bad experiences that all of us see. User experiences are flawed. There's a knowledge gap. There's a lot of innovation with that. So it just seemed like the natural place to go. So I'll pause there, but that's background on me and kind of how I got into crypto back in, 2020.
And that's so well said, and I appreciate you doing that because it's very important for people to really get an idea of the person or persons behind the project, and to hear about your experiences and the way that you have a thought and and improvise and adapt and overcome, like I say all the time, is extremely important in the crypto space, as is with any business, right? But if the individuals running the project can't do that, then the project itself is certainly never going to do that. So I appreciate you, sharing that aspect of what got you, involved and what kind of led you to to this journey. Because
Jason, I think one of the points you just made is something that I've been talking about for a long time. When people look into a project and they're looking at it as potentially investments or other, it comes down to the team behind it and the people. You could have the best utility in the world, but if it's not run by competent people or smart people, visionary, strong-minded people, and then they don't surround themselves with people where they complement their weaknesses to build even a better and stronger team, then those projects just aren't going to be around forever. And I think Cure's different in every regard of that. You got myself, who's really trying to push the innovation and tech side of things and has the charity component. But then I've surrounded myself with some amazing team members that do some of the stuff I don't want to do, some of the dirty work that I'm not the best at, and some of the other things. And it really comes down to team when you're looking at projects. And I couldn't be more proud of the team that we've assembled.
Absolutely. And I've really super enjoyed the conversations that we've had and working towards building this partnership with you being on the show and being able to really get out there all of the innovation and all of the technology and all the forward thinking that Cure is doing, and it's really, really an awesome thing. And it's also, like I said, very important that people understand who is behind the project, because as an investor, when we make a decision to look into a project, if I have some insight personally on who is behind it, what are they about? What have they done in the past? What do they do if they have a full-time job? What motivated them to get in? It gives me a little bit of insight to who is managing the money that I'm putting into that particular project. And that's one of the reasons why Legion and I both like to really give an opportunity for individuals to share their story and let people know who they are what they're about, and what their passion is, and what brought them into the crypto space. Let's go into, we're hyping it up now, right? So let's get into Cure token basics.
Yep.
What are the tokenomics, and what is Cure about in general? And then we'll deep dive later.
Yeah, so that's great. So Cure Token is the first project that was launched. I launched it on my own over a year ago, and kind of a one-man show at that point. And as I said, naively thought we were the first charity project in the space. But if you've been in the space a while, you've probably heard of a project which rug pulled called Save the Kids. It's a very large charity project. Yeah. We came in right on the heels of that one. So that kind of set us up for like another charity project, and everyone sort of like pointing at us like, oh, it's another one of those. And so I immediately from day one put myself out there, so I'm always on video, kind of doing the counter crypto thing. It's not a meme project. This is at the root, at the core, it's a charity project, so and that's how it started. And we've been able to do a lot since that point. We went into our V2, and this is when I brought on a lot of the team members that are part of the team now, is because I needed help to evolve the project from just a weak smart contract on BSC space into something that really is a driver in the space. And that's what we did in September of last year. And so we launched our V2 contract. And the tokenomics have changed throughout time. We launched with an average tax, I think it was like 14%, something like that. But the taxes have gone down throughout the time, especially once we were in the bull market. We started to drop our taxes on buys and sells. Right now, the tokenomics are, we actually just increased them to 12% right now because of a few different reasons. But one is we're using them heavily in technology and as well the charity side. But that's broken up into 6% that goes to charity and 6% that goes to the technology. And what we've been able to do with the charity side of things is, I think, a lot more demonstrable than most projects really show. I mean, we've done a lot. We've raised over $400,000 in that period of time, and it's gone to researchers throughout the world. And keep in mind, when I started my foundation, I was just supporting researchers in the Chicagoland area and families in the Chicagoland area because it's a very small foundation. But because of the birth of Cure, we've been able to fund research all throughout the globe and do direct family support in the form of charity drops also throughout the world. I mean, we've touched, I think, almost every continent now. We get grants on our website of people who know families that are in need, that can't pay their car payments, their mortgages, their kid's sick in one country or one city and they don't live there, and we need to logistically figure things out. And we have the foundation side, which is the team behind it that does all those sorts of things. And we translate all of that onto our website so that people can see what we're doing. But we've done a lot, and we met a lot of great people and families throughout the way. And so tokenomics today is a 12% tax on buy. And it's been doing pretty well. At the all-time high, we got to a 56 million market cap. And we started at, I want to say it was like $150,000 or $200,000. So that was a massive increase that took place. Massive.
Absolutely.
And, what happens with projects, and I think everyone knows this, is that, you get a lot of hype toward the initial aspect, and then you consolidate. And you consolidate in which, you lose a lot of the early investors, which is healthy, and then you get a lot of smaller buys. But what happens as well is when you get into a bull market or leaning into it. I mean, we launched, I think BNB was $480 or so when we launched. Now you look at where it's at now, that's a natural decline of 60%. So we've consolidated. The market's downtrended, obviously, but I think we're in a really good position right now. And I mean, there's some just overall really good sentiment and feeling about where we are with the project and all of the other things that we're doing around. We just launched a token on Ethereum called Chain Token, for example. We have CurePay, which I want to talk about here in a bit, but we're building so many new cutting edge technologies and things that are creating value, not just to themselves, but back to Cure Token, because that's what I care about the most is the charity aspect of this. So tokenomics are. I know I beat around the bush a bit here, but it's tokenomics are buy tax of 12%.
Okay, and is there a sale tax? And also, I've got a question from someone who can't get into the Twitter space because they don't have Twitter in our Discord, wanting to know if buying and holding Pure Chain, does it count as a charitable donation, therefore tax deductible relative to the donation?
Well, unfortunately, tax deductions in the crypto space are it's a difficult thing to navigate.
Right.
If there's a transaction that does have a tax associated of the percentage that does go to charity, I will of course write a letter. We have tax donation letters that we can provide for those, because that is truly a donation, but not the total investment. So if somebody put in $1,000, $1,000 is not a tax write-off. It would be the percentage of tax that went to charity. So we have done that for some large buys that have happened in the past that requested it, but it can't be the full amount. And to answer your question about sell tax, it is 12% total tax. So it's a 6.
Okay.
You could look at it as 6 and 6, but basically the taxes are taken out immediately on the buy, and then converted, liquefied on the sells.
Sure, and it's interesting that you have, in the DeFi space, that you have so much attention to your project when there's actually not a portion of the reflections that goes back to the individual that's investing. And I think that is very important to notate, because it shows the overall sentiment of investors, right? They're willing to put money into a project that is smart, that makes sense, that it, definitely shows that the plan, their forward-moving plan, is solid and makes sense. Like the way you're putting so much not only toward charity but into technologies. There's obviously going to be, now that we understand a little bit about you. And where your motivation comes from and your creativity and your drive, obviously that 6% is going to be going to places that will help to further the investment. So that's a big reason why. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's you bring that up, but that's so important. As I said before, you can't just be a charity project. That it's great. People feel good about it. There's an emotional connection, but you have to continue to grow and evolve in order to ensure that you can bring value back to the holders, and that's done in the form of additional utilities, and technology utilities and other tokens that benefit the project, the ecosystem. And so that's one way of doing it, but there's others. Our roadmap is pretty robust and full of things that we're going to be doing from a technology perspective in the healthcare space, research category, and what I feel is really groundbreaking and revolutionary and innovative in those areas. And the BSC project, Cure Token, it was the start of what has ignited so much more. And keep in mind, though, when I started it, this was not the idea. The idea was it'll be a charity project and help the foundation exclusively, and just that. But I think I quickly realized that you needed to bring additional value to holders. So that's what the whole goal and objective has been over the past year, is trying to figure out how we do that and how we do it effectively.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great connection, too, between Glow and Cure, as we are both, initially charity-based, right? And initially had that idea. And it's just really very interesting, to me personally, the way that you are going about using these funds to create things that support the project, but that are outside the project, and being super innovative about it. I'd really like to know, what is it from your perspective? And I want to get, now that we've done tokenomics, I want to get a little bit more into what Pure Chain is about, right? So what is, and for those of you who are listening and are interested, go to curechain.info. And you can learn all about their project there. Fantastic website, full of information. I don't know that we can even cover it all here in this space, but definitely go to curechain.info and check them out. What is it, though, that you're the most excited about that you want to put forward at this time relative to what you're working on?
Yeah, sure. So as I said, projects need to evolve and iterate and create more value, sustainable value. CureChain was actually the result, and CureChain is what we call the product, which I'll describe here in a second. And then Chain Token is our Ethereum token that's in support of this. So that's the revenue side of it and the token economics side of it. But I'm going to tell you, backing up in time here, going into pandemic era again. We were all just there recently. And I mentioned I work in innovation. My brain is always trying to connect dots and break things apart and try to figure out how things work and understand it so you can build something better. And one of the things that came to me during that time period was, just like everyone else, I questioned, how is it that we're able to come out with a vaccine so quickly and it's readily accessible and available even more quickly? And that's something that we need to ignite within like cancer research, for example, or just any catastrophic disease. Why can't we have that much rigor and progress happening in a short period of time? And when you break apart that problem, it becomes quickly apparent out of the hundreds and hundreds of variables that contributed to it that there's really three buckets of motivation, or just things that ignited it. One of which was access to data. Researchers had access to massive amounts of data, and it was shared collaborative data that they never had before. It was just massive amounts. I'm talking like social media data, mainstream media data, medical research data, all sorts of data, first party data, for example, a big component as well. And it fueled, it enabled researchers to be able to move faster. The second aspect of it was that, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but researchers usually work in silos and pockets all throughout the world. It's very rare that you get collaboration in research. You get collaboration by researchers, but not research groups a lot of times, not
Sure.
governments, not health organizations. So
Absolutely.
The collaboration is really key. The third aspect of it was the real drive and motivation, which would, unfortunately, with the pandemic, it was you didn't want to die. We didn't know how bad this disease was, this virus. We didn't know. It was the motivation of we all want to survive at the end of the day. But I feel that all can be replicated and bottled up, and then can be applied to disease. I would love to make that same scenario happen with pediatric cancer or the next, any catastrophic disease, even adulthood diseases. And I think it can. And that's what was the birth of CureChain. This idea that we need to enable research to occur faster and have them get the breakthroughs faster at a more rapid pace. So what CureChain is it's a platform which brings together first-party medical data. So you or I, Jason, we would opt in and give consent and say, here's access to all my underlying medical data. And obviously our data may not be worth that much, but compared to someone who has a catastrophic disease, but providing consent to researchers to be able to leverage it, use it, analyze it, run trends on it, use AI on it, all the things that they need to do in volume. So you get a lot of access to medical data if you do that, it's going to enable things to move along farther and faster. So the product is an NFT powered blockchain. So your medical data is turned into a dynamic NFT that lives on with you forever, and it gets appended to forever. You don't have to upload information, scan documents, none of that. It's all integrated into existing APIs that exist throughout the world that contain medical data in first, second world countries electronically. And so we're taking that data, redacting it. It's all done through automation. So it's redacted of who it is. So it's not Jacob Beckley's data. It's just health data tied to a demographic. And that's tied to an NFT, which you retain, you own. And and the best parts about NFTs are that you can create token economics in there where you can have a passive revenue stream. So as your data is getting utilized, as it's being utilized for research, you can actually earn for that. And not only earn for it, but you're also doing good as a result of it. Because researchers need access to data, and it's just a difficult thing for them to do. And it's very many times extremely costly as well to get access to data and relevant data. So we're trying to democratize and decentralize the health system, basically is how you could look at it. But we're starting with medical data, and we're starting in the research category, but we're going to go much further than that. So once these NFTs are created, they're tied to an individual. They have all the medical information that gets accessed by researchers. There's accountability, all because of the blockchain. We're building that portion of this on Hedera, which is HBAR, and it's being fueled by our token, which is Chain Token, which is on the Ethereum network. So that's what's going to be the mechanism for rewards, the payment vehicle, and then the blockchain side of things is for the transparency, the accountability, and the consent, which is the most important piece of all of this, is making sure that researchers have actual consent to leverage the data in the first place.
Absolutely. And I can't emphasize enough the level of innovation that is going into this, right? And it's, like you said, it is so costly for researchers to, find candidates and do their research and all that. And it being brought forward in a way that is, if I understand properly, it's anonymous, right? I mean, you own the NFT, but nobody knows who you are, and anything of that. You're just sharing what you're going through. And then a pool of researchers can then access that data in whatever area and arena that they are doing their research in for the betterment of everyone else.
Yeah, and they're getting access to real-time data, which is key. This isn't stale data of data from years old or studies that happened, a decade ago. This is relevant real-time data in action. I mean, it's everything. It's everything that's medically documented on an individual, and then the best part is you don't know who it is. So you have that the ability to remain anonymous, which is the power of where technology has taken us with blockchain technologies, and then you tie in crypto into this, and then you tie in NFTs. It just seems like everything's coming together at the perfect time of position where we are today in the world. And we feel that we're going to be able to make some real big difference and change in how things occur and really flip it on its head. This is not the first time that anyone has ever tried to turn a medical health record into, put it on the blockchain. That's not the first time at all. It's been done many times in the past, or tried to be, and they've always fallen short because I'll tell you exactly why they've fallen short. A lot of times these projects are funded through government organizations, or CDC, and I'll speak about that in a second, or privately funded, but inevitably they're not sustainable because they lose funding. That's also the power of tying crypto to this, is that it's going to fuel this initiative to actually get from the start to finish in a very short period of time. And then, so there's so many things positive about that. But then as well, when you start looking at why the others have failed, it's because they're coming from the top down. They're coming from a government or a government organization. They're coming from the CDC. They're coming from big healthcare, big pharma, and people don't trust. I don't trust that. I don't want my data getting into the hands of the CDC unwillingly, even if it is anonymous. They're going to find a way to not make it anonymous. But I want that trust factor, and that's why I feel from approaching this problem from the bottom up, and from a community-driven initiative, from a cryptocurrency, from people who are like-minded around decentralization, the concept of decentralization. I think that's why this approach and combination of technologies that we're doing is also a major differentiator. But I believe all of this combined is what's going to make this a massive success, and also tying it with the charity aspect. The important thing to know is that most charities revolve around disease. I know so many small foundations that get started because they've lost their child to a catastrophic disease. They have massive amounts of following. They have community backing. They have support networks all over the place. Those are the people that are going to activate this. You know, those groups and those people that care about and rally around a topical disease. And in my case, pediatric cancer. And I just know so many families, so many communities, so many groups and foundations and charitable organizations out there that are going to start fueling this. You know, they're going to get the people, people hear about it and they're like, oh yeah, if it's easy enough, if I don't have to do anything except raise my hand and say, yes, you can use my data, then we're going to get a lot of people into this. And, you know, and you don't have to know anything about crypto to do it. So we're not asking people to go get a MetaMask, give us your wallet address, upload information, upload your data. We're not asking for any of that. We're just asking people to give consent. And when they provide that consent, it gets stored on the blockchain. It gets tied to a dynamic wallet, so they don't even have to know what a wallet is. And that's it for them. They can check back at any point and see how their data has been utilized, accessed, what researchers are, which researchers are using it. But also because this is community driven, they'll be able to help influence and guide and promote where they feel they would like to see more researchers working. And that's going to happen in the form of bounties. So we talked about the motivation before, the fear factor. In order to account for that motivation, we're going to be building bounties for researchers, big pools of funds, but also community driven, so that they can be motivated to want to have progress and move faster.
And you know, it's so unique, and that's why and Legion and I have been so excited about this show. It's so unique that, you know, you're tackling such a huge problem, and I don't want to go, you know, too much into the government side, but I will absolutely say that I agree with you, and I, you know, I'll go on record as saying, you know, that many times when the government gets involved in things, it gets overburdened. It doesn't run efficiently almost ever, right? Yeah. So building this ground floor aspect of it, right, and bringing people in that share the same vision and the same commonality, that, you know, maybe I have this, or, you know, my family member has this, and I don't want anyone else to go through it. And they're willing to anonymously share that data and allow researchers to do that. It is really, you know, just a super positive thing. And when you're kind of coming at the crypto space in a reverse way than a lot of projects do. And that is, you know, you're building something on the side one way or the other, and you're tying in the contacts, and you're tying in blockchain, and you're tying in, you know, the crypto world to better help the end goal. And that, from what I'm hearing, is the end goal is to solve these problems, right? And so anytime, no matter if it's a brick and mortar business or anything else, you know, if you can make a better mousetrap, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, right? A lot of times innovation.
That's what it seems like you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. It seems, you know, innovation comes from that. You know, innovation sometimes is just about making something easier, or removing friction, or improving an experience, and that's it. And what we're doing here is we really honed in on a problem, a real world problem that isn't getting addressed correctly. You know, it's not that it's not getting addressed, but it's not getting done in the right way. It needs to come from community-driven initiatives. And you look at decentralization of finance, for example, you know, that whole movement that started many years ago. And look how far that's come, you know, and now, you know, the people who are most scared of that, the banks, the governments, financial institutions, they're the ones who are now adopting it all. They're the ones who are moving into that space more, because they're going to become obsolete if they don't. The same thing is going to happen in healthcare, you know, and we're not going to, you know, we're igniting it, I hope, but we're not going to be the ones who inevitably solve it or cure diseases, but we are definitely going to be the ones who enable progress to occur, because I feel it's the same movement, and that starts in the space of these like-minded people who like this concept of decentralization, who like the concept of building something from the ground up and getting rid of, you know, I mean, decentralization started because people got tired of just paying fees for transferring. Why can't we just do peer-to-peer? Same thing is going to happen in healthcare. So that's the movement we're in, and it's the right time for everything. I mean, one last point, I mentioned the CDC before, and they've tried this a few times in the past. I mean, not with as progressive technology as we're using, not with NFTs, not with redacting information, but they've tried this in the past. And actually, our head of technology on this is he's vested in this mentally. I mean, he's donating his time. He's on board as our lead, our technology lead. He used to head up the CDC, and he was the chief architect for the CDC when it came to blockchain technologies. So he had already tried this many times in the past. And when he and I connected, his name's Jim Nasser. When he and I connected, I think a light bulb went off in his head, like, oh, this is the missing link to what I've been trying to do for 2 decades. It's the missing link of the nonprofit side, coming from the bottom up as opposed to the top down. Combination of NFTs, having a reward-based model built into it, incentive-based model, and he and I, are landing into the same spot that it's the right time. It's the technology's right where it needs to be, and he's already built a lot of this in the past. So now it's a matter of refactoring it and combining it differently and uniquely in an innovative way that we're going to get there so quickly, and not have to say, okay, well, we got this idea, now it takes us 4 or 5 years to implement. No, we're talking months. We're talking a few months. So it's not a lot of time for us to get from where we were with just an idea to a truly demonstrable version of this that's on the blockchain, it's on Hedera, that works, that you can use it, that we can get consent, that we can get medical information, that we can store it safely and privately, that we can redact it, all that stuff. That's the demonstrable aspect of it. And we're going to get there extremely quickly.
Absolutely. And I, for one, believe you. There's a couple of things that I do need to do, and I want you to hold that thought. We've got some questions coming in, and we have a contest also in our private chats. You were mentioning doing some giveaways to enable people to have a lot more exposure to Cure. So what would you like to do first so that my co-host and the master behind the mic can arrange this as we continue to talk? And then I would like to bring up our COO, Mr. Shane, and give him an opportunity to speak.
All right. Is Shane coming up? Or should we do it?
Yeah, he's gonna come up, but I need to know what you want to do relative to the first giveaway.
Yeah, we're going to do a total. So I think we're going to split it up into two giveaways, right? Yeah, we're going to do two BNBs worth of Cure token. So you'll become a holder of Cure token if you're not already, and hopefully be a holder forever, because this project is sustainable and it's going to make a difference. So we're going to do 2 giveaways for total of 2 BNB worth of tokens. So how do we want to split this up? We want to do 1 BNB for the first giveaway?
Sure, absolutely.
All right.
And so, yeah, absolutely. And, it's been our experience here on Glow Nation that, when these type of drops happen, of course, when you get that type of a thing, it's going to really make a difference, especially if they're not a holder. To draw their attention to the project. And of course, we want to get this out everywhere. So, Mr. Legion, are you able to speak relative to the terms of the contest?
Yes, I just have a question. So it's like the hashtag. Is it hashtag chain or hashtag chain token? How do you want me to set it up?
Yeah, we're doing hashtag chain, and then we also, when we talk about Cure token, it's hashtag Cure token.
All right, I'm typing this up now. I'm gonna put both hashtags. Okay, so I'm gonna read it to y'all before I tweet it. Glow Nation, for a chance to win 1 BNB worth of hashtag chain, hashtag Cure token. Like, retweet, comment, hashtag Glow Nation. Must follow at Cure_ecosystem. So you have to be following their official account, and you must be in the space to win. So I'm going to tweet this out right now, and I'm going to pin it to the top. So we'll give you guys a little bit of time to do this while we talk a little bit more. Let me tweet this out. Tweeted, and I'm going to pin it to the top. Okay, that is pinned to the top. So you guys go follow all those directions. And this is a big giveaway. So make sure you follow the directions. So
Absolutely.
seriously, you've got to be following that Cure official account, or you will not be qualified. So please follow the directions. And that tweet is out now. Before we do that, though, can I get everyone to retweet the space one more time so we have more people in here for more chances of people to win? And this is some really, really cool information we're hearing here. So I want all of our family and friends to hear it. And while I give y'all a chance to do that, our esteemed COO, who I believe is back in Ireland, is here to speak to us. How are you doing, Mr. Shane?
Hey, Shane.
I am all good, yeah. Just got back from Portugal a few hours ago. Lovely delayed flight. It's a bit miserable being back here in Ireland now. It's very late, so yeah, just dropped into the space for a little while. I know myself and Kira have spoken in the background before, and looking forward to seeing what we can do with them as well.
Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know Shane, he is the COO of Globy 2, and he is like the man behind the curtain, right? And like we bring people on. He always has this way of finding the capacity to work with people, and is a true believer in uniting DeFi, and that's what we believe at Globy 2, and also obviously clearly believe in the charitable aspect of things as well. So he is just really amazing at making a win-win situation happen with all parties. So, question for Cure that I've got in Discord. Has Cure Chain considered the multitude of cancer research papers found on Uric Alert?
Well, I'm sorry, what was that last part, Jason? Out on what?
No, you're fine. So the question was, has Cure Chain considered the multitude of cancer research papers found on Uric Alert, a science-oriented news site, right? And would it be possible to help some of those project or research findings come to fruition or reality?
Yeah, so yes, and there's other sources as well. I mean, let me make 2 points about this first. Research, as I said, is done usually in silos and pockets. That's categorically one of the flaws of the way the research system is moving right now. The reason that happens is because it takes so long for research papers to get published. And a lot of times by the time they get published, they're obsolete. One of the primary reasons that occurs is because researchers are spending a majority of their time actually not doing research. They're trying to write the next grant application so they can get funding, so they can keep going and be sustainable. And unfortunately, that's the model of some of the most progressive researchers in the world that they just get tied into, and that system. And I feel that Cure Chain can break that mold, and that's, as I said, through the incentive side of things and allowing grants to go out there so that you don't have to go out and chase grants, but grants can come to you naturally. And by getting people into this ecosystem and researchers, I think they'll have access to massive amounts of data, but more importantly, they'll get the much needed funding they need, and also hear from community like what are the things that matter most to them, what are the things that they want to be doing in the space. So yes, we are also in our roadmap talking about building our own repo for this, so that it is accessible on the blockchain, so that researchers have more real-time places to go to, and also have the immutability and the accountability aspect tied to all of this. So it's all on our roadmap of things that are on the horizon. But our first step was to get the consent model going, get the demonstrability of the medical health record, and start that portion of the ecosystem, and then move into all the extensions that'll come right on the heels of it.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in there. Myself and Jacob, we were talking about this before. My future sister-in-law is actually in research, and she researches diabetics. And there's a lot of limiting factors to what they can actually pursue in their research, because the way they write papers, they always have to consider that they're writing for the journals for other people to read so they can get their next funding contract. They mightn't actually be able to pursue exactly what they want to pursue or exactly what they're researching. They always have to sugarcoat it basically so that it's made financially sort of possible for them to continue their research as well. And that's a really poor way to be doing research. These people who have talented minds and are able to research should be given complete freedom on what they should be able to research and the avenues they should pursue. But with the way everything is shared at the moment, that's not possible, because like Jacob said, everything's done in small pockets. There's not a huge sharing of information.
Yeah, exactly right, Shane. And then, most of their time spent daily just fighting for that next grant. And a lot of times doing research that they don't want to do because they have to, not because they want to. So there's just so many flaws in that industry that I feel with a little bit of innovation, a little bit of crypto, a little bit of blockchain technology, things can completely shift. And we can start to see the trend move into a much more progressive and rapidly moving pace. And again, just to recommunicate this, it has to come from the bottom up. We're not going to change healthcare in general or research in general from the top down. It has to come from the bottom up and provide an alternative method, provide a new innovative way of doing things or a new innovative way of thinking about it. And that's how change happens. So I'm really excited about that. I mean, some of the other future things of initiatives that we're going to be working on right on the heels of CureChain and research specifically is moving into the healthcare industry. And this is the same approach. It's a bottom-up approach. How do we change the healthcare system around the world? I mean, every country has their pros and cons to healthcare. Everybody has different access. So, the terms I use are, we want to make healthcare around the world affordable, equal, and accessible. And those are big statements, because you could live in a country that has the best healthcare system, but you may not have access to the best. You might not have the most accessibility, but it depends on the region, the territory, where you live, and what part of the world. But I feel that through technology, and specifically through the power of blockchain and this Cure ecosystem, we're going to be able to make a dent in that problem down the road. So that's our progressive thinking of where we want to be in 3-5 years plus of where we're going to be pushing things. It's definitely all centered around pediatric cancer, because that's what I care about, but all catastrophic disease, and eventually healthcare systems, and really start thinking about things from the bottom up, leveraging crypto and technology in a way that hasn't been done before.
Absolutely. And, bringing that up, and I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit, bringing that up, I'm sure you're familiar with Mark Cuban, right? And the whole pharmacy idea that he's got, and working, on bringing the price of prescription medications that are needed for those who are sick down. And I really feel and see that you are, in your own innovative way, trying to enact something similar.
Yeah, that's definitely a piece of it. I mean, pharma's a problem, and a lot of that is it's unfortunate. It's unneeded the way that the system is working today. But again, that's not going to get fixed from the top down. It has to come from the bottom up. That comes down to supply chain accountability of the supply chain. Comes down to pharmaceutical companies and providers. I mean, there's just so much in that ecosystem, and there's just so much money that fuels it, and that people have their hands out along the way. And leveraging smart technologies, we'll be able to just flip that on its head and change the way all that occurs. I mean, a short story here, but even at one point I was on medications, and here in the U.S., I think I was spending like $300 a month on it. But if I ordered it or went to Mexico or ordered it from someone I knew in Mexico, it'd be like $1.50. And it's just, what's that discrepancy caused by? What's fueling that? And that's a problem that exists everywhere, and that the only way that's going to get solved is, again, from the bottom up approach.
Absolutely. I absolutely could not agree with you more. And where do you, if it were totally up to you and the world was, peachy keen, what would you like your project to be doing a year from now?
Oh, wow. Well, we're moving at a pretty rapid pace. I mean, there's a year from now, when you think about where we were a year ago versus, launching to the point we are now,
right?
A year from now,
right.
I think that realistically, for certain, I know that the Cure Chain ecosystem is definitely going to be launched within that point. I mean, our roadmap for that is actually much less than that. And, I think that we're actually going to see some real world results coming from it. Some actual progress has been made. And, the data is getting utilized in purposeful ways in meaningful ways that is creating breakthrough. And I know, as I said, Cure was started as a pediatric cancer token trying to help, families and fund research. But I see us moving much more out of the side of just funding research and moving into the side where we enable research to occur. And that's the flaw. I mean, for years I'd said, I've been funding research and researchers, and unfortunately it's a black box. And unfortunately that money a lot of times goes to operations, is keeping the system going. Let's reinvent the system. Let's reinvent the way things happen. And then our dollar going in is going to be so much more powerful than it would be today. So I think a year from now, I see this being utilized in real world demonstrable ways that are really creating some breakthroughs. And I think over time, it'll become the standard. And this is what Jim Nasser and I have spoken about. We want to build the standard for fueling the data within research. I mean, there's a lot of different technologies out there, but there isn't a standard. There isn't a unified standard. And we feel strongly that Cure can be that. And then eventually, year plus from here, Cure just as a token, or a economic system, will be the fuel from the economic model side of things, and as well chain. Chain token, the same thing. It'll be used in meaningful ways, that it's not just an asset that you hold and hope it goes up, but it actually does have like real value associated to it, not just intrinsic value.
Absolutely. And, going to the point, one of the points that you just made is we at Glow, when we strongly bet the charities that we support, and our team does an amazing job of doing that. And in so many cases, we actually hand deliver the checks, and we want to make absolutely sure that the overall, I don't want to say political aspect of it, but we want to make sure that what we're doing goes towards the function and not operations, right? Like, we don't want to be paying people salaries and, those types of things. I know those things have to be done, but we at Glow Company do not, that's not what we're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, we really literally want to make sure that the money that we are giving, and it's a powerful thing. I mean, if you think about it right now, the economy is not so good. I'll use that terminology. And there's just not a lot of money flowing into charities at this point. So projects like yours and like ours, who can, during a depressed time, deliver thousands of dollars to a well-vetted charity. In our case, we allow people to nominate charities, and then it's an internal vote with amongst the team to kind of narrow it down a bit, and then we put it out for the community. And you don't even have to be a holder of Glow V2 to nominate for our charity or vote for our charity, right? But Brian and Shane and our team go to the nth degree to make sure that what it is we're doing does not go to those standard operational expenses, for example. Yep. And it sounds like you're doing very much the same thing. Now, I do want to bring in my illustrious co-host, Mr. Legion. Do we have a winner for the first draw?
Jason, I'm so excited about this. I love when this happens. Okay, let me tell you the full story of this. So earlier today, someone who had never messaged me before, so I had to go in and accept, that I would do the message. Someone messaged me with a screenshot of one of our older spaces where we were doing a giveaway. And he asked, "Hey, am I too late for the giveaway?" And I said, "Yeah, sorry, unfortunately you are, but be in the space tonight with Cure Token. We have another big giveaway, so come hang out with us again." I'll be damned if he didn't win.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I have it posted to the top to prove that it actually happened, but I literally screamed when I saw that he won. So that's really, really cool. I already messaged him and said, "Hey, you're not going to believe this, but you're the winner." And I invited him up to speak, and he is here. Mr. King, hello, sir. How are you this evening?
Hello, Legion. Hello, Jackson. I'm fine. I'm just very, 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 very excited. I wasn't expecting to be the winner, and thanks a lot for the giveaway, Cure Token. Thanks a lot, Legion. Thanks, Jackson, for the opportunity. And yeah, I really like the project. I really love the project, and well, I guess I'll have to purchase more Cure Token, and I'm a fan right now.
Thank you so much for showing up and showing our show some support, and I'm so happy that you won. Mr. Jacob, is it you that he needs to DM for the wallet address and to give his wallet address, or what does he need to do to get?
I would prefer to get it from you, just to eliminate any people creating fake accounts right now and DMing you. So I'll get it from you, and then I'll send it over. You're going to get 135,000 Cure Token, which is equivalent to 1 BNB. So congratulations. Great to have you part of the Cure family.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very, very much.
So
That's amazing.
if you would give me your what kind of address do you need? Is it Ethereum?
Yeah, it's an ERC20, so it's a BSC or Ethereum, but this is on BSC, so Smart Chain Wallet address, and yeah, just get it over to me.
So send me in that same message, just send me over that address, and I'll get it to them, and we'll get you taken care of. So, and again, thank you so much for coming tonight. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And jumping back to Jason real quick, I want to make a comment on what you ended with. I think it's so important. You talked about vetting charities and making sure that money goes to where it should. That's actually why I started my foundation. Is I got tired of seeing foundations, even the largest in the U.S., that get started, and then I won't throw any big ones under the bus, but probably know who I'm thinking about. There's a few, but you give them $1, and then 20% of it actually goes to the end cause, and the rest goes to operations, marketing expenses, campaigns, promotion, and all this sort of stuff. And I got tired of it. So when I started my foundation, my wife and I, we said we don't want to be that kind of foundation. We want to be known as a dollar in, dollar out, which is it's actually really difficult to do, to run a foundation with zero overhead. And we went even further than that. The first 2 or 3 years that we ran the foundation, we made it $1 in, $1.50 out. So we would put 50% more on top of every single dollar that came in to ensure that it's going to the right place. And we personally as well hand deliver our grants, the direct family support, all of those sorts of things. So we want to meet the people. We want to know who they are. We want to interact with them and be a resource, a lifelong resource to them. So that's super important to me. And when we went into crypto, it's the same thing. We wanted to be fully transparent with everything, and have just like a curtain pulled back so that people can actually see what we're doing. So since the beginning, I guess between transparency and authenticity, that's kind of my 2 words that I use a lot. But that's what I wanted to demonstrate in the space, because, as I said, coming on the heels of one of the largest rug pulls in the charity sector and not knowing it, but coming in right on the heels of that was really difficult. So the way we combated that was specifically through transparency and say, hey, we're not the next project that's going to rug pull, or we're not a charity that says we're doing this, but we're doing that. So that means a lot to me, even from the beginning. And I'm proud of what we've been able to do since that point, and how much we've been able to raise since that point. It's been amazing.
It absolutely is amazing. And, everything that you're doing and the transparency behind what you're doing, I think is super important, right? You're really trying to make sure that the dollars that you gain and the dollars that you're donating and all of these things are actually, to the best of your capacity, going to the right place. And in these times, like I said, it's very important that such large donations and such huge influences in the research fields and all that are actually going to the right place and is doing the right thing. And I'm really happy to hear that you have such a focus on making sure that all of the efforts from your project are going to the right places.
Yeah, and I think one more point on that. I think the differentiator we have is the foundation aspect. We didn't just start a foundation so we can get into crypto. This foundation had been around for years, and I think that's a testament as well. Being a nonprofit organization in the U.S. is not really an easy thing to accomplish, and the biggest aspect of it, and this is another whole project in itself, but another whole aspect to it is that's accountability of knowing how foundations are using their money, that opening up their books, being transparent with the IRS, and being accountable for it. And let's speak about another project. You could start a whole other project just on the charity side of things. That's another blockchain project, which is all about transparency and tracking dollar in, dollar out on blockchain, using blockchain technologies to provide that transparency. And not saying we're going to that space, but talk about innovation. That's definitely an area that needs some innovation.
I agree. And going to that point, if it were up to you personally, how would you enact that innovation?
Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you the innovation.
Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
you are. But I'm going to educate hopefully a few people here on my.
Yes, that's what we want you to do.
So I believe I approach innovation differently than I think a lot of people do, a lot of companies do. My approach is kind of taking the opposite of what a lot of people do. A lot of people go through innovation. They're like, okay, so we're going to build something. We want to be innovative. We want to build X, Y, Z, and then they keep plowing ahead. In fact, the best way to do it is to actually start backwards. So when I say that, what I mean by that is we're not trying to prove ideas or prove that things will work, or prove that the idea is viable. We're trying to disprove it as quickly as possible. The sooner you can get out of an idea or pivot it, or just sort of move in a different direction, the better, because that controls costs. It streamlines the process, but you can also get to innovation faster. And what I mean by that, I'll give you a real world example. So let's just say we are working on this idea of revolutionizing the way charities are held accountable. The first thing is to understand what the real problem is. What is the problem we want to solve, and make sure that is the underlying problem. Too many times companies and initiatives start in a space and jump to a solution before they actually have really assessed, is it the right problem that's being solved? Actually, one of my mentors he's an innovation consultant as well. And he worked in the 80s. He was brought in on an innovation job with General Motors. And they were trying to solve all these problems. The problem of the day was, people are losing their keys. It's a big problem. It's costly. They have fulfillment issues, and they couldn't monetize it that well. They weren't generating revenue from it. It was a cost center. And they're like, okay, so let's figure out how we can fix that problem. And everyone's like, the problem of people losing keys, and everyone's coming to ideas like, oh, let's just make noisemakers, and let's do beacons, and let's have flashlights and all these tactical products, which at the time maybe were innovative. But he stood up and he says, that's not the real problem we need to solve. The problem isn't why people lose keys. The problem we should be asking ourselves is, why do we even have keys? And from that's what started and ignited innovation in, I know it's a stupid example, but in the automotive industry. And we've gone to, keyless entries, remote starts, and eventually keys are going to be a thing of the past. And it's just because you need to make sure you're solving the right problem. So in the case of, being on the charity side, we need to first identify the problem, but then you don't just dive right into it. You identify what is going to be the most challenging aspect of success for that idea. And that's what you go after first. The thing that is the hardest is, and if you can't overcome that, then you got to back out of the idea. And that's what I mean by disproving, or, there's a lot of terms that people use, like experiment cheap, for example, or trial and error, trial fast, these sorts of things. But the reality is you need to get out of it as quickly as you can. So in that sort of scenario, I'll try to figure out exactly what is the biggest, hairiest beast there, and that's what you go after first, and then work your way backwards.
Absolutely. And I want to hear more about, it's very intuitive thought process that you have. And I'm personally really excited about, an individual such as yourself being behind a project like this. Now, I don't want to keep you too long. And so I do want to get the other giveaway going so that we can do that. But speaking to what you just talked about, after we do the, because I'm going to ask the master behind the mic to come up and do what he does relative to the giveaways. I would like to hear, after we announce the next contest, how you plan and Cure plans to tackle that pinnacle of the ultimate problem and your vision going forward on that. So, Legion, do you have the ability to lead us into the next contest, sir?
Yeah, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to give everyone a second chance on that same tweet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload it in just a couple of minutes. So if you are new to the space or you have not done all that cool stuff, there's a tweet pinned to the top right now. I'm going to read it to you again. It's pinned to the top. I'm going to go retweet it again right now. Okay. Glow Nation, for a chance to win a BNB worth of chain Cure token. Like, retweet, comment, hashtag Glow Nation. Must follow at Cure Ecosystem, and you have to be in the space to win. Me and Jason make you come up and say hello, so we make sure you're a real deal person. So go do that. Also on that tweet, if you missed it, I put the Cure token website, the Discord, the Telegram, and their Twitter. It's all in that tweet. So go and retweet that, and let's get this information out there. And while I'm doing that, I just got a message from, what do you call that? Discord. Sorry, guys, I'm a little tired. Has Cure Chain entertained the possibility of having a ship made for Meta Arcade's Galaxy Invaders game to further raise awareness of the project as well as increase donations? Have you heard of?
Yeah.
Are you aware of Meta Arcade?
I am not personally, but I'm very familiar with Metaverse, and that's a great idea. We're trying to partner with projects in the Metaverse space to really promote what we're doing and what we're doing around the charity side, but as well what we're doing around the research and healthcare side. In fact, there's a project that is building a custom car inside of their Metaverse that's going to be wrapped to look identical to our NASCAR, which is our NASCAR sponsorship that we have coming up here in September. So that's pretty cool. So I think any project out there that wants us to get involved or can provide some support, we are more than willing to collaborate. I think as everyone here knows in Glow Nation, I mean, it's important that projects collaborate. That's how we're going to make it through the bear market here, is going to be through working together, sharing information, because none of us know everything and we need to work together. So I'm totally open to it. That's a great idea.
Hey, yeah. Get with us, Jacob. We are really good friends with the Meta Arcade guys, they're partners of us, so we can definitely get you in touch, and they're really, really good people. That's why people in our Discord are asking, because we have a ship over there, so we have a whole planet. So yeah, we can absolutely help you get into that world. And speaking of partnerships, Mr. Shane had his hand up. What's going on, Shane?
Yeah, Jacob, I know we have to have a conversation about that other thing. Obviously, I was in Portugal during the week, so we'll have a conversation about that, and I'll introduce you to the founder of Meta Arcade as well during that call as well. Leanne is her name. She's a great girl, and we'll get things moving on the other thing as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we talked a bit about our other utility earlier on, but yeah, that's awesome. And we've got so many conversations going on right now, and it seems to be really receptive with a lot of projects. And we just want to be able to collaborate as much as possible with projects, because, as I said, that's how we're going to navigate the period we're in until we get back to a bull market, which is inevitable. It's going to happen, but you need to work together and be sustainable during the time when it's down, and you do that through collaborations. You do it through shared AMAs. You do it through shared communities. You do it through shared knowledge. And I'm just grateful to be here, having been able to talk about Cure and the ecosystem and Cure Token and Chain Token and Chain. So definitely let's follow up this next week and get things moving.
You were definitely in the right place, Jacob, because Glow Nation in this space is all about Unite DeFi, and we're creating a very large family, and we have a lot of partners and a lot of friends. So yeah, when you came in here, you absolutely did not come just to a Glow space. Our branches reach out quite a ways, and we have a lot of friends. So, and we're absolutely want to help you. So yeah, I'm very happy that you came and hung out with us tonight. We're all about the bringing people together, and I want to invite you as well, like I did Cypher Token the other night. Once you're a guest on the show, anytime you want to come in and tell us about any kind of cool, exciting news, even if you're not if it's not a Cure Token, space, doesn't mean you can't come in. I don't care what project we are hosting that night or what our subject is. If you want to come in and just kind of tell us about a cool, exciting thing going on, that kind of thing is welcome here. We may have one project as our guest, but we might end up talking about 3 projects that night. So you're welcome to come back anytime and give us any update, no matter what we're talking about that night. So please feel free to always come back and talk to us. Okay?
Yeah, we'll definitely take you up on that offer. We love sharing what we're doing, and just want to get the word out there.
And Mr. Jason, you have a question from the Discord?
Yeah. Now I have to find it. The question was basically about if Cure Token had, and I'm not quoting, but if Cure Token had any future plans to join what we're doing with Meta Arcade. All right, like we always are cross promoting, and we have a planet, we have a ship, and so I had a question: is Cure Token considering or would consider joining the Meta Arcade space to have their own ship and have the competitions there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking at it all now. This looks really cool. So this is definitely something I think is in our wheelhouse of partnerships and sponsorships, because as I said, it's through those collaborations of projects that work together that you're really able to grow and be sustainable in a down market, more specifically. So yeah, we're totally up for it, and love to have those conversations next week.
Sure. And that has been really the entire concept of Glow Nation has absolutely been about bringing those of us together, right? Like I said before, even if you have a new brick and mortar store with a new project, the cost of educating the market of what you're doing is expensive, to say the least, right? So if those of us in the DeFi space can come together and understand that we're not really competing with one another, because I personally don't know anyone that is just only invested in one project, right? Like they invest, in multiple projects. So if we can all come together in the DeFi space and form a larger community, a larger unit, then we have the capacity to make a difference as a whole, and really educate people on what the DeFi space is about, and support one another. And it doesn't have to be a competition. It can be collaborations. It can be partnerships. It can be, us utilizing all the wonderful things that you're doing, and you utilizing, all the things that we're doing, right? So it's really important to me, and that's the reason why we do this show, is not just to let people know about Glow, is because we can do that all day, and we're going to do it on Monday. We have some super news coming out on Monday relative to Glow V2. I'm not going to disclose it now, but I can guarantee you, you don't want to miss that space, because there is some big news that's going to be coming out on Monday, and we will post a link to that after the show. But we really strongly believe in the aspect of, we're all stronger together as a unit, and we're in our infancy stages right now, right? It's like when the internet first started, and the .com bubble. The internet started, and tons and tons and tons of people came out, and it all, but many of them failed, right? Because they weren't positioned properly and all that, and that was the .com bubble. So those of us who are positioned properly now, who have the right partnerships now, who are connecting our communities now, we will be the ones that come out of this current crypto winter and be the ones that experience the biggest bull runs when that comes.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that's been my philosophy of, as I said, when I came into crypto, I saw so much innovation that was needed in this space, and I learned a lot from the foundation side. It's I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but foundations, like charitable organizations, actually don't work together. They don't collaborate. They're very rarely, because they feel like they're competing for that next donor and that next dollar, and they're in competition of each other. And my philosophy on all of this is our foundation, we want to partner with other foundations, and that's how we become stronger. That's how we do more good, is to scale and working together. And I brought that same philosophy, and it sounds like everyone here has that same philosophy. I brought that same philosophy into crypto, and I believe that the way that we're going to be stronger as a project is by working together with other projects. And that was the birth of Crypto Legends, which I know you're all a part of. And we're going to be doing a lot more with that as well. But that's that idea of we're not competing for a person. Everyone's out there, and they don't invest in one project, they invest in several projects. Why not, collaborate and promote the projects that are safe, that are vetted, that are partner projects, and give them some other opportunities to play with some of their investments. So it's the same thing with foundations as it is with crypto, but I couldn't believe in that concept more.
I have a winner. It is one of our regular listeners, Mr. Chumchicks. I see you in the space all the time.
Hey.
You won. Come on, as they say on Price Right. Come on down. Come on up.
Come on there.
Come on up so we can say hi to you. You actually just want a BNB worth of Cure token, which is amazing. So congratulations. But
absolutely.
I know you're a real person because you're always in the space. There you are. What's going on tonight, my friend?
Hey, how's it going?
You won.
That's awesome.
That's what's going on.
Awesome. Definitely, excited to win this, and being in the Chicagoland area myself, always interested to learn more about charities in the surrounding area. I will say, don't count on me to be the third trip across Lake Michigan, because I don't think I could do that.
No, I don't even think I would do it. I think that would be beyond stupidity.
Again, thank you.
Yeah, but we are actually, speaking of the charity side of things, there have been some ideas thrown around doing a relay, because there's no way I'd do it on my own again. But a relay where everybody goes across together in a shared boats, and everybody takes a mile or two and dedicates it to a charity of their choice or other. But we're thinking through some ideas there on the real world charity side of things. But yeah, and also Chicago, great weather today, so it's awesome. So thank you for now being a Cure holder and part of the Cure family.
Yes, and thank you. It's been very informative listening to you tonight.
So if you would message me your BSC wallet address, and I'll get that over to Cure Token for you, and we'll get you set up. And thank you also for always showing up to Glow Nation shows. I always see your profile down there. So yeah, thank you for supporting us so much. All right, we're getting toward the end. So Mr. Jacob, before I go into my Glow ranting, because I do have to talk about Glow a little bit in my wrap up. Is there anything that we missed, Mr. Jacob? Is there anything that you would like to put out there that we maybe forgot to ask, or is there anything you would like to talk about just to make sure we didn't miss anything?
Well, I just always like to end with making sure that there's clarity on one thing. We do have the BSC project, and we also have the Ethereum project. So two different areas for people to get involved in. So it's gives them some opportunity if they're an Ethereum primary network user or a smart chain. So we do have those between Cure Token and Chain Token. And other than that, no, I just want to say I appreciate you having Cure on. I'm definitely excited about the future and the future collaboration that we can do. I think there's a lot of opportunities in this space, as I've said. That's kind of my message throughout today. But there's a lot of opportunities here, and you just need to hunker down, put some brain power together, and start executing against some things so that we can build some really revolutionary technologies and partnerships. We're in such the infant stage of cryptocurrency. I mean, it may not seem like it, but we are so early on that we can do a lot, and our footprint can be really big. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity, and just want to say thank you for having us on.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. We really, really, really appreciate it. And again, you're always welcome to come back. And it sounds like you and Shane are going to have some conversations. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be back anyway. So I'll tell you, welcome to the Glow family and welcome to Glow Nation. As you're about to hear, as everyone's about to hear, we're on the same page here. We kind of do the same thing. And I wanted to add too, I heard you earlier talking about what you do, as the day job and the crypto job. I kind of share the same thing with you as well. My crypto job is VP of Community Relations and in Community Engagement, bringing all these people together, and it's for a charitable project. And then during the day, I'm actually in the healthcare industry, and my title is Community Relations Director. So my day job and my crypto job actually kind of matches titles, just like your day job and your crypto job titles match together. So I thought that was very serendipitous that we're both kind of following the same path. And you said that crypto is full-time, and boy, you're not kidding. It is not easy to do the day job and the crypto job, but I think we're all here. I think you agree with this, Jacob. We're all here to hopefully one day just be doing this crypto job only, right?
Yeah, no, I hope I can get to that point. I actually don't own any tokens. Everything I've ever bought has been burned, so I'm not going to monetize all of this in any way. But I just hope I can get some sustainable income to a point where I can focus 100% on it. That would definitely be ideal.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Oh yeah, Mr. Jason. Okay, I didn't get to this at the beginning. Again, I'm always going to shout Jason out. Like every show, I'm going to shout Jason out. And if y'all didn't hear tonight, Dude, I don't think Jason even needs me. Like, he killed it on this space tonight hosting this thing. So, can I get everyone, can I get a favor? Can I get hearts and claps for Jason for taking over this space when I was, not around? Because dude killed it tonight, for real. Thank you. Yes, Jason deserves it. Not only did Jason kill it tonight as a host in just running this whole show, but he is also the one that spends hours a day researching all these projects, because we don't want to have some nonsense on our show, right? We want to have like legit projects. So Jason is the one that does all the research and make sure that the project is legit. They're worthy of a show, and also to see if they align with Glow and see if maybe there's some future partnerships and all that. So Jason spends a lot of time doing this stuff. So Jason's kind of the man. And tonight, impressive. Kind of made me feel like y'all don't even need me. Anyway, Jason, tell us about our future shows.
Well, we definitely love you, and we definitely need you. But yeah, so we are going to be doing on our Growing Up DeFi space. We're going to have a conversation with Mr. Gandalf from StateMoon, and that was supposed to happen this afternoon. The show went a little over, so we're going to kind of realign that for in the morning. It'll be a recorded space in our Vice President of Education's, Mr. Jared, will be doing that. I'll be co-hosting with him. And so that will be posted on our official YouTube space soon, tomorrow. Monday, I've got some breaking news. Mr. Legion, I got some breaking news. We are going to be doing a space on Monday, and there just may be some very big information that comes out on that space. Everybody likes free stuff, right? So I would highly suggest, we'll be putting out some links over the weekend. I would highly suggest that you get involved in that space on Monday, because Monday is going to be, we do Moonshot Mondays. So this Monday on the 27th is going to be about Glow V2. And there's going to be a ton of information that comes out. It's going to be super positive, and I think everybody's absolutely going to love it. And one of our dear friends, Everrise, will be on the following Friday at 6:30 p.m. because we are going to move to that time set. And there may be potentially a super big influencer that comes on somewhere in the middle of there that we do a special on, but that is the current schedule. So do not miss Monday on our show, because there's going to be a lot of news that comes out. And I'll just say a giveaway is not adequate for what might happen on the show on Monday. So definitely make sure you tell all your friends, family, even if you hate them, let them know. Help us out, and we'll go forward from there.
Y'all might want to check the pinned tweets. The thing that we'll be talking about is on them pinned tweets, and there's a giveaway. There's a holy goodness gracious giveaway that goes. So y'all need to check that out. It's got there's a lot of numbers in that giveaway. But we can be doing little giveaways on Monday too. But Monday's gonna be a chill show. Like, we just gonna talk about Glow. I probably won't even write an agenda for that show. It's just literally gonna be just us talking and hanging out. So yeah. But y'all gonna want that information for real. And it's gonna be starting at 6:30. It's gonna be starting at 6:30. Y'all saw today why. It's gonna be starting at 6:30, not 6, because that's too close. Okay, let me do some of these pinned tweets real quick. So there's a contest announcement up there on pinned tweet. I'll let y'all just check that out. There is also, I pinned to the top a link to our YouTube channel. because this show is always streamed on the Glow's official YouTube channel. So go check that out. Like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of cool stuff. I know y'all, if y'all regular people probably missed, we didn't have Greek tonight. But I have checked in on him. He is totally fine. He's good. He will be back in the future. I didn't see
He
him.
was in the space too.
Yeah, I got
he was
worried.
in for a while.
I got worried. I'm like, where's my Greek? But no, we all good.
No, he was in for a bit.
Okay, so on to the Glow Shield. So I gotta tell y'all about Glow, because that's what we do. All right, Glow is a deflationary token. It gives 10% back in BUSD. There's a buy and sales tax of 15%. That's where that 10% BUSD reflections come from. So where does the other 5% go? Don't worry, it's good stuff. There's a couple of lotteries. If you hold at least $20 worth of Glow, then you have a daily lottery of at least $100. So if you hold $20 worth of Glow, every day we do a rando drawing, and you just might get $100 worth of BUSD. There's another one that if you hold at least $50 worth of Glow, you get a chance to win $10,000 worth of BUSD. That one takes a little bit longer because it's all based on volume, how long that wallet takes to fill up. But chances there, and the number of holders we have is below 10,000. So your chances, in the number of people who have $50 is less. So your chances are better, a lot better than a lottery ticket. Anyway, the part that makes me love Glow, the reason I do this silly stuff right after work, is because part of that 15% tax goes to a charity wallet. So that wallet just builds up all month long. And what we do is our community puts forth all of the charities that they like and where they like the money, they would like to see the money go to. Then the team kind of vets those charities to make sure they're good and the money's going to go to the children or whatever, not the CEO. Once we have good, solid projects, the community then votes on those. Once the community has decided which it is at the end of the month, they get the contents of that charity wallet. We're well over $30,000 so far. And in some instances, if it was close enough to a team member, we actually brought the money straight to them. We've done some really good stuff for kids. We've done some good stuff for kids with cancer. One of my favorite ones was War Child, just because I love that name. It was kids that were affected by war. So anyway, yeah, we do good stuff. And that's why we love the idea of having Cure on, because we absolutely align in the same fashion of trying to do something good for the world. We also have some cool stuff coming up too, like NFT marketplace. We have a partnership with Crypto Atlas, his Eco Warriors NFT line. We have a couple other ones, and the roadmap coming up too. So lots of cool stuff coming up. Sorry, my wife just came in and told me dinner was here, and they just threw me off.
You're gonna get in trouble by the boss in a minute.
Dude, yeah, she's like, dinner time, like, you just threw me off. I was just on the spiel, and it just like threw me off, man.
She's gonna hit you.
I have so many bosses, it's not even funny. Anyway, be on the show Monday. For real. Be on the show Monday. Really good information. It's going to be some cool stuff. And Jason's going to keep pumping out amazing guests like he did tonight with Jacob from Cure Token. And we're just going to keep doing this thing and making it better and better. So, Jason, did I miss anything?
No, I don't think you missed anything, but I would like to give our guests an opportunity to make any kind of closing statement or anything that we might not have covered that they feel is important.
Well, I appreciate that. My team's been yelling at me. I was supposed to have mentioned that we're running a largest buy competition right now on both Ethereum and Smart Chain. So I had to get that.
Wow.
But the winner gets a BNB value of Cure Token as well for the biggest buy. So come on over, check out our Telegram or Discord, and we'd love to have you join our family here.
You said that. I actually pinned that to the top. I saw y'all's tweet. I pinned it to the top and totally forgot to mention it. So I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I totally forgot as well. I'm getting yelled at over here.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. So, but again, thanks for having Kira on. Thanks for having myself on, and it's been awesome to be able to share kind of what we're doing, our roadmap, where we've been, and what our vision is. And can't wait to achieve it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate all your time. Yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you guys.
Oh, and I have winner number 1 in Discord. Our Discord messages. I sent you the wallet address for the first winner, and I'm working on getting the address for the second winner right now. So I'll have both those in our Discord messages that we've been having back and forth. So got you there.
All right, perfect, awesome.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you all for coming, everyone. I'm going to end the space the same way I do every night. Y'all do something nice for someone. Do some charity for somebody. Smile at somebody. Open the door for somebody. It's a dark place out there. A lot of people are having a hard time. Do something nice for somebody else. You never know what someone's going through if they're kind of being, mean or ornery. Give them a moment. You never know what people are going through. So, give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, kill them with kindness. Be nice to them. So, all right, guys. I'm gonna go eat dinner and try not to be in trouble. And I will see you guys again Monday for a glow space. So, good night, everybody.